is Leila McClintock, and I'm going to be a junior at Smith College in the fall, and I'm getting a degree in Italian Studies and International Relations. Yeah, so it's actually interesting. I first heard about the program through Sarah Bidgood because she came to Smith to kind of get more young women involved in the fields of nonproliferation and terrorism studies. And security was actually something I never thought I would be interested in. I've always been very much a humanities person. I like Italian literature, I like Dante and things like that. But there was just something about the idea of kind of using a variety of methods in the security field to sort of make change and to motivate people to make change, and that was something that kind of inspired me and wanted me to explore this sort of field of study further. And so I think that was a major draw for me in choosing this internship. I've been working primarily on the NTI grant, so that includes kind of doing country profiles, the global incidents and trafficking database, and along with kind of updating a variety of other pages. And then I've also been doing some work with C-Tech as well, and just kind of doing a little bit of research on far-right terrorism. I actually had no idea as to what I wanted to research when I first came to CNS, and I'd always been interested in sort of the role of non-state actors in the international system, and then when we started learning more about WMD, I decided to focus primarily on kind of radiological threats by non-state actors along with a fellow intern, so that was sort of what I've been focusing my independent research on when I got here. It's great. Smith is a women's college, so I actually haven't taken a lot of classes with men, and so it's been interesting, even though there are many women this year in this cohort, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different types of people with a variety of perspectives, and I think that's the most interesting part of this internship, is that I'm not even just learning about the field, I'm learning about the field and other aspects of the international system through the people that I'm interacting with, and each of us comes from such different academic backgrounds as well. We have someone who studies physics, someone who studies math, even people who have different regional interests, and there are so many different languages here. It's crazy. That I think through that's been one of the most rewarding aspects for me. I think it's been opening my worldview and been educating me in a way I don't think another internship could have. So I walk in through the door. I usually need a coffee because I'm very much addicted to caffeine, and then usually I check my emails, say hello to everybody in the office, catch up with everyone, look at some news articles, and different things like that just to keep my brain feeling fresh and awake. And then I'll kind of start to think about my responsibilities for the day, how I'm going to allot my time, whether that's working on some NTI-specific projects or focusing more on my own independent research or doing some research for C-Tech. I kind of have to allot my time accordingly so I can feel like I've been productive throughout the day and kind of make some headway in my research for myself and for the people that I'm completing research for as well. Typically, we'll have a lecture in the morning from about 10 to 12, and those have been super fascinating. I think through those I've been able to learn the most about the field, especially when there are different experts that study different regions and also come from different facets of international security, whether it's public sector or private sector, who have all kind of wound up in a sort of nonprofit research think tank capacity. And I think it's interesting to kind of hear their different experiences and compare and contrast them in terms of determining what I might want to do in the future. I actually really enjoyed a lecture we had from a Ukrainian border officer because I'm doing sort of research into WMD threats from non-state actors and radiological threats, and how can these things sort of evade borders, or do we have enough capabilities to ensure that materials aren't being trafficked through into other countries. And I think that was the most fascinating for me because it was almost like an inside scoop into how an officer would actually deal with those issues. And that's actually something I've become really interested in this summer, which I never thought I would be interested in. So it was really interesting to also hear his perspective as a Ukrainian, to sort of gauge how maybe we would interpret it here in the US as opposed to how another person from a different country might. So that was cool. It's interesting because I have been doing a lot of reflecting, and I think honestly for me, kind of being a younger woman, I'm one of the younger ones here also in this program, I definitely felt a lot of intimidation and some imposter syndrome coming into it, saying, oh, what am I doing here? I don't know a lot about international security. How am I going to feel like I can find my place here? But I think the thing that this internship has taught me is that I need to advocate for myself and be confident in my abilities and just sort of ask questions and ask people for help, or just go up to a person and say, hey, can we talk about this type of thing? Because I think by doing that, I've been able to sort of gauge not only develop more confidence in myself, but also to sort of determine where I see myself going, in which field I could see myself kind of striving in or thriving in, as opposed to, I think, if I had been in a different internship where kind of lectures and speaking and expressing opinions aren't as prioritized. And I think that's the really great thing about CNS, is that they do want to hear a variety of perspectives from all different facets of sort of the academic and personal spectrum. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely still interested in pursuing something in international security. I'm not sure, again, which aspect that will be. I definitely really like kind of the different terrorism research I've been doing and things related to trafficking and weapons trafficking and ensuring safety. But I think overall it's just given me this drive to want to, I mean, it sounds a bit contrived, but I guess just to help make the world a better place and a safer place. And I think it's just really important to be open and to listen to all different types of perspectives. They're each valid in their own way because everyone comes from a different culture, a different type of family, a different neighborhood. And I just think in that regard, in the security field, I think we always need a variety of perspectives because these are such contentious issues. So I feel like in that regard, it'll fit into my career trajectory, just keeping myself open and wanting to constantly learn more and better the field. Definitely meeting new people and getting to work with the other interns and the other experts. And also, I mean, being in California is great. I'm very much from the East Coast, so it's my first kind of real experience kind of living on the West Coast. So it's been, a lot of it when I first got here was definitely a culture shock in every aspect of the word, and just being around tons of, new California things, and then also all these new interns and all the experts at CNS. I was definitely overwhelmed, but I think at the same time, that was also the best part because I definitely dove in head first, and I feel like I've learned a lot and developed more as a person, so I'm very thankful for the summer. I'm very into walking and exploring everything. It's also, I don't have a car, so it's definitely harder to get around when you don't have a car, but I have been able to take a few trips. I was able to go to San Francisco. I went to Yosemite as well. I didn't grow up around a lot of nature, so being able to see all this sublime kind of nature has been incredible, really. It's given me such a new appreciation for the environment, which is another thing I feel like I've come out of this internship with too. And yeah, just definitely going to cafes. I love food, trying the different types of foods here, walking on the beach, spending time with the other interns, and just kind of enjoying myself, trying to take advantage of my summer as well. I would say that if you want to learn something new that really isn't spoken a lot about, I think at least I never had a strong background in nonproliferation issues in high school, or I just recently started learning a little bit more about it in college. I think it's just a great way to sort of have an almost crash course type thing in this field, and to kind of just also develop an understanding of the world around us, and that these issues are still really pertinent today as they were, 30 years ago. So I think that's definitely a really interesting part of this internship that I think, everyone from any type of background, any type of academic field, I think would thrive here, because it's just so, I don't know, I think if you come in with an open mind and ready to learn something new, I think it would be really beneficial for people.